Hello guys, this is Muhyiddin. In this tutorial, I will show you how to install a blazing fast WordPress website on AWS EC2 with Debian. So let's get started. So right now I am logged into my AWS account. So now let's go to EC2. Okay, now let's go to instances. Click on launch instances. Okay, so now let's name our server. For the sake of this tutorial, let's name it blazing fast WordPress server. Okay, now let's move on to the AMI. So there we will select the Debian AMI. Okay, now let's scroll down. For the instance, we will select C6i. So basically we are selecting a compute optimized instance which is best for hosting any WordPress website, especially a WooCommerce or membership websites. Okay, so C6i large is good enough to host a medium level WooCommerce website where you can have 20 to 30 plugins and about 50 to 100 products. Okay, so and the monthly traffic it can handle is between 30 to 60,000 users. Okay, so now let's select a key pair. So I have already created many key pairs, so I will select one of them. I will select WordPress EFS. If you don't have a key pair created, just click on create new key pair and then select it. This is required for SSH login into the instance. Okay, so you must create a key pair. Never proceed without creating a key pair. Okay, so now let's go to network settings. Okay, so there basically we will just select the availability zone. So VPC would be default, and in the subnet I would like to launch my instance in the availability zone US East 1A. So let's select that. Okay, in the security group, let's create a new security group. Basically, security groups allow us to define who can access our EC2 instance. Okay, so let's call it WordPress test security group. Okay, in the description allows SSH, HTTP and HTTPS traffic to the server. Okay, so first rule would be SSH. Okay, so in the source type we will select anywhere. That's good. Now let's create another security group rule, and here we will select HTTP. The source would be anywhere, so that any IP address basically can access our server, our HTTP on port 80, and then we will select HTTPS as well. This rule would be helpful when we will install SSH on the server. Okay, so anywhere. Okay, all right, now let's configure the storage. So we will use EBS volume here. Okay, and let's select GP3 here, and the storage size I would recommend you should select at least 50 GB. Okay, and the IOPS we will select maximum IOPS that comes with the GB3 volume, which are 16,000. And delete on termination we will select it as no. Basically this defines that when you will delete your EC2 instance, the EBS volume will be deleted or not. So I would recommend selecting no, so that if somehow you delete the EC2 instance, the EBS volume will still be there and you will not lose your WordPress website data. Okay, for the encryption select yes, and okay, so in the advanced details let's keep everything as it is. Okay, so we are good here. Now let's click on launch instance. Okay, perfect. So launch initiated successfully. Now let me go here. Okay, so here you can see that the instance state is running, but the status check is initializing. So we must wait for the status checks to be passed. So I will pause the video and now and get back to you when the status will be passed. Okay. Okay guys, so now our instance has successfully passed the status checks. So now let's use Putty to connect to our instance with SSH. So let me just open Putty. Okay, so here I will type the IP address So, and now let's select the SSH key from here. So remember I selected EFS, so I will select that. Okay, now let's go on open, accept, and the username we will use would be admin. Okay. Okay, perfect. So now we have successfully SSH into our instance. So first of all, let's update all the packages. Okay, so for that we will type sudo apt update. Okay, perfect. So now let's upgrade the packages. Okay, select install the package maintainers version. Okay guys, so now we have successfully updated our server with all the latest packages. So now let's install Nginx. For that we'll type apt-get nginx -y. Ah, sorry. I think it would be, let me see. Ah, so I forgot to type install. Okay, so there we go. Okay, perfect. So now we have successfully installed Nginx. Now let's start Nginx. Sudo systemctl start Nginx. Okay, and now let's enable Nginx. So what enable would do is that it would tell the server whenever you will restart your server, Nginx will automatically get restarted, and you won't have to start it manually. Okay, so for that we'll type systemctl enable Nginx. Okay, perfect. So now let me again just clear the screen, and now let me show you that Nginx has successfully started. So let's just copy the IP address, open in incognito. So let me just open. Okay, so there you can see that welcome to Nginx. So we have successfully installed Nginx on the server and it is running perfectly. Okay, so now let's configure the default Nginx virtual host. So for that let's just go to sudo vi let me just go there, cd etc nginx. Okay, so let's move to the directory sites available. Okay, so let me just open the default file sudo. We will use the editor vim. So for that I will type sudo vi slash tc slash nx slash sites available slash default. Okay, so now this is the default configuration file of the Nginx virtual host. So there we will configure how WordPress should function in the Nginx. Okay, so first of all let me just quickly remove the default things. Okay, so to edit this file, what I just did is just you will have to just press I, and you will be enter into the insert mode. Okay, so let me just quickly clear everything here. Okay, so that's great. Okay, now just paste what I am about to paste here. Okay, I'll provide all these files in the video description. Okay, so you will get everything. So let me just paste it. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so now let's press escape, save everything. Okay, fine. Now let's restart our Nginx. Oh, failed to restart. I think we did some mistake here. Let me just see. So the server directive is there, root, and okay, we just pasted these files here. Okay. So where's the problem? Okay, so I think let me see if I successfully selected everything. I see. Okay, so we have a bracket missing here. Okay, basically we didn't close the server directive. Okay, so now it should be perfect. Okay, now let me restart again. Okay, so you see Nginx has successfully restarted, and just to confirm that the file syntax is correct, we will type sudo nginx -t. Okay, so there you can see that test is successful, so it means that we have successfully configured the Nginx. Okay, now let's move on to the Nginx configuration file. Basically now we will edit the Nginx main configuration file, and the file we just finished editing was the file which tells Nginx how to treat WordPress. Okay, so let me just open this. Okay, so now in this file we will just enable gzip compression. So there you can see the asterisk sign, which means that all these lines are commented, so we will just uncomment these lines. Okay, so let me just uncomment. Okay, perfect. Now let's just save this file as well. Okay, fine. So now we will install MariaDB on the server so that we can have a database for our WordPress website. Okay, so let me just paste this command here, and there you go. So the MariaDB is now installing on the server. Okay, perfect. MariaDB has been successfully installed on the server. Now let's just start MariaDB by typing this command. Oh, I just pressed an extra L here. Okay, systemctl. Okay, perfect. Now MariaDB has been successfully started. Now let's just enable it as well. Okay, great. Now we have successfully enabled MariaDB. Now it's time to secure our MariaDB server. So for that, we'll run the command sudo mysql secure installation. Okay, so currently we don't have any password set for the root user, so I'll just press enter, and now it will press n. And okay, so now it's asking if we want to change the root password. Yes, we want to set a new password for the root user, so I'll press Y. Okay, now it's time to enter the password. So for the sake of this tutorial, let me just create a dummy password here. So okay, so I think this is fine. Let me just copy and paste it here. Okay, great. Now just enter Y for all these options. Okay, perfect. Now we have successfully secured our MariaDB server. So now it's time to install PHP on the server. Okay, so we will install PHP with all the necessary packages. And remember, I'm going to install PHP 7.4 on the server. Okay, so let me just install PHP with all the necessary packages. Okay, so now we have successfully installed PHP with all the necessary packages on the server. So now it's time to install PHPMyAdmin so that we can create a database for our WordPress website. So let me just install that as well. Okay, so first of all, let's move on to the main WordPress directory, which is cd/var/www/html. Okay, so now we are in the directory where we will install PHPMyAdmin and WordPress files as well. Okay, so let's just first install PHPMyAdmin. Okay, so the file successfully downloaded. Now let me just create a directory with the name PHPMyAdmin. Perfect. Now let's extract all the files into this directory. Okay, perfect. So okay, now let's remove the PHPMyAdmin configure, setup file. Okay, fine, great. So now let's install WordPress in the same directory. So let's download the latest version of WordPress using this command. Okay, fine, the WordPress successfully downloaded. So now let's extract it. Okay, so now the WordPress has been successfully extracted into a folder called WordPress. So basically we will only host one WordPress website on this server, okay, which is will be on, it could be on any domain. So I'm not going to install WordPress in any subdirectory. So what I will do is I will uh, copy all the WordPress files into this main folder HTML, which is okay. So let's run this command. Okay, fine. So now if I type ls -a, so you can see all the files have been successfully extracted into the main WordPress installation directory. Okay, so now the last thing to do is just change the permissions of this folder. So let me just go back into the www folder. Okay, and let's me just type this command. So what this command is basically doing is that it is allowing www data, which is a default user for the Debian software, to access all the files in this directory. Okay, so let's just run this command. Okay, perfect, executed. So now we have successfully installed WordPress, PHPMyAdmin, everything on the server. So now let's create a database for our WordPress website. So let me just go here and type PHPMyAdmin. What? Let me just see why we are having this error. Um, Let me just check the configuration files. We shouldn't be having this error. Okay, let me just see. Okay, so let's just see all the settings here. So the route is perfect, the location seems to be perfect. Okay, let's just edit that, and let's just keep it to listen on port 80. Okay, let me just save the file. Let me just now restart Nginx. Okay, now it should work fine. Still this error. Let me see. Okay guys, so basically in the configuration, in this configuration file Nginx, I forgot to define which files Nginx should look for in this directory, wars www/html. So let me just paste it here. Okay, perfect. So now we shouldn't get any error. Let me just restart the Nginx again. Okay, perfect. So let's just visit this again. And so as you can see now, we have successfully been redirected to the PHPMyAdmin. So there I will type root as the user and the password would be this. I just, okay, where is it? This one. Okay, so this is the password. Yes. So let me just paste it here. Okay, so now we have been successfully logged into the PHPMyAdmin. So let's create a new database for our WordPress website. I would name it demo. Okay, so let's create it. Okay, so now the database has been successfully created. So now let's install WordPress on the server. So as you know that we have all the files located in the main WordPress installation directory. So what I would do is just I would go to the IP address of the server, and there you can see the WordPress setup has been successfully launched. So now let's continue. Let's go. So in the database name I would type demo. Okay, and the username would be root, the password would be this one. Okay, so let's just paste it. Okay, let me just copy and paste it here. Okay, so we will leave everything as it is. Select submit. Okay, great. Run the installation. So site title would be demo, username demo, password demo. So basically you should never have a username demo and password demo as well, but for the sake of just this tutorial I am using this. Okay, so email we will have mariaDB@yahoo.com. Okay, so install. Let me just install WordPress. Okay, perfect. So now WordPress has been successfully installed. So let's just log into our WordPress website. Okay guys, so now we have successfully installed a blazing fast WordPress website on our AWS server. So one more thing, we would change some of the PHP settings on the server. Okay, like the PHP max execution time and some other settings. So let me just show you how to do that as well. So for that, let's just run this command sudo vi/etc/ PHP slash 7.4 slash actually let me just first move on to that folder. uh, okay guys, so now let's just go to basically this directory PHP, and there we would go to 7.4 FPM, and then we would open this file php.ini. Okay, so sudo vi php.ini. Okay, there we have this file open. Okay, so let me show you what we would change here. So max execution time we would set it to 300. Max input time should be 180, and memory limit ideally it should be 256, but if you have a very heavy WordPress website you can consider increasing it to 1000 as well, but I would not recommend more than that. And there we have a commented setting, max input variables. Let's first uncomment it by removing this semicolon. Okay, now let's change this value from 1000 to 10,000. And let's just scroll down a bit and let me show you some of the other settings that we should change as well. Okay, so here we would change this post max size from 8 MB to whatever you want. Basically, this is the maximum upload size of the post, so I would keep it to 8,000 ideally. It should be more than good enough for your website. And let's scroll down more. And okay, so the max upload file size, let's change it to 8,000 as well. Max file upload should be 200. Okay, let's keep everything as else as it is. Now let me just close this file. Okay, perfect. So now let's just restart the PHP FPM for the changes to take effect. Okay, so what the command should be sudo system restart PHP. Okay, perfect. So now let me just show you how to confirm that our settings have been successfully applied onto the server. So let's just quickly install a plugin called debug info. Okay, install now. Activate. Let's just go here, click on show details, and there you can see our settings have been successfully applied to the server. So the maximum execution time is 300, max file uploads 200, max input time 180, max input variables 10,000, memory limit 256. Okay, and you can see the post max size 8,000 as well. So okay guys, so one last thing. So if I go to the media library, so you can see that if I add a new item, so it says the maximum upload file size is 8 GB, which we just set in the php.ini file. But it will not work because we have to add one directive in the Nginx configuration file as well. So let me show you what I mean by that. So let's just open this file, sudo vi slash etc slash nginx slash sites available slash default. Okay, so here just after this line, okay, this index this line, okay, let me just add one directive here, which is client max body size, and we will keep it to whatever we want. So we want maximum 8,000 MB file to be uploaded on the server, so I will keep it to 8,000 MB. Okay, so that's it. Let me just save this file. Okay, so now let's just restart the Nginx. Okay, perfect. So now we can upload a file up to 8,000 megabytes successfully into the WordPress. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial guys. I hope you liked it. In the next tutorial I will show you how to connect your WordPress domain to this IP address, basically to this server, and also I will show you how to install SSL on it. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you in the next video. Kindly comment if you have any questions. I would love to answer that, and please subscribe to the channel as well. So goodbye.